Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and to my latest video. This video is the very long awaited pin curl tutorial. You've probably seen my other videos as to why it's taken so long, but the good news is I finally have some vegan hair products. I just had a delivery from OUAI? I don't know how to say it, but it's, if you can see it, it's texturizing hairspray. I'm actually going to use this as both my setting lotion and my hairspray today, but having tried it out the other day on the first run of this tutorial, this is actually the second run, and unfortunately the reason I didn't get it up last week is because I was editing it and iMovie had some sort of massive spat and like corrupted all the footage and everything, so I had to start all over again. That was fun. But I've downloaded a new version of iMovie and I'm reshooting the video, so here we go. So it does make a really good setting spray, I found. It does make my hair dry quicker as well, so there's like a few benefits to it. As a finalizing hairspray, not so much. Like, it does work, but it's a very light hold. So I would recommend getting their actual hairspray, which I'm going to order because I really like this product. So yeah, so what you will need for this tutorial is some setting lotion and hairspray, or some combination of similar. You can use mousse and things like that. You will need a brush or a comb with a rat tail to part your hair into different sections. You will need pin curl clips. Use pin curl clips. Don't use normal clips or barrettes or bobby pins because they make strange shapes and crinkles in your curl and they flatten the curl. So you need to get yourself some of these. They're pin curl clips. Like this. I got mine from Hair House Warehouse, like a massive tub, was like $11. You can get them at most like major hair product stores, pretty much anywhere in the world. You'll need a hairband to tie your hair back, and you will need a nice big headscarf, which you'll see at the end, wrap your pin curls up in while they dry. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. I have already distributed the texturizing hairspray through damp hair. I washed my hair today and it is almost dry. You want your hair to be almost dry because this is a wet set tutorial. The wetter your hair, the longer it's going to take to dry. So I'm going to do this in a couple of hours. My hair holds a pin curl set quite well, but the more difficult your hair is and the more you find that it doesn't hold curl well, the wetter you're going to want your hair to be and the longer you're going to want to let it to dry, because what you're doing is coaxing hair that is wet into a new shape, essentially. If you have trouble with keeping it a set, or even if you use hot rollers and it doesn't hold very well, try doing a wet set with plenty of setting lotion, a nice strong one, and don't do what I've done and like cheat, get a proper setting lotion, and then do it on wet hair. When I say wet, you don't want it dripping, like towel dried hair, and then sleep in it and let your hair fully dry. And don't take your pin curls out while they're still damp. They must be completely dry or you will lose the curl. When you brush it out, it'll be like brushing wet hair. It will be all gone and you will have wasted your time. So make sure you dry them properly. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. I'm simply going to separate this top section of my hair. So look where my hairline kind of comes down. I'm gonna separate it there and then into my bangs section, and I'll fix it up probably with the brush afterwards. Like so. I'm going to tie the rest of my hair back and then take that front bang section of your hair. So if you were to cut your hair into a fringe, that's the section you want. Don't take your crown because that section is going to be combed backwards. So this is the section that will essentially become your S-wave along the side. So what you want to do is I separate this section in half again because it's very thick, and you want your pin curls to be nice and small. The smaller they are, the quicker they dry, and also you get a much nicer, tighter curl, which results in a better set. Okay, so when you separate your pin curls, separate them into small sections. Like, you don't want them to be big at all. Like, that's probably 1 or 2 centimeters square. And here are the main tricks I'm going to give you for pin curling. Figure out which direction you're going to brush your hair. So my hair is going to be going this way. So what you want to do is pin curl in and onto the root of your hair. Don't start here and pin curling, because by the time you roll to the bottom, your pin curl will be dragging across this way, like that. And then your hair will sit flat against your head and you won't have any volume. So start in this direction and roll in and onto the root of your hair. And you pin curl by, I'm going to come in nice and close, pin curl by putting 2 fingers at the end of your hair, wrap the hair around in a loop and pinch it under your fingers so the ends are on the inside under that finger. And this is really important. Keep the hair out and flat in a ribbon shape. It's like you're going to curl the ribbon on a Christmas present, okay? So you want the hair to be nice and smooth. You don't want any twists in it because it will ruin the shape of your curl. You want a nice round smooth curl that's wider at the top and smaller at the bottom. So pinch the ends in here, slip your fingers out, grab your ends and roll that baby on in. It's as simple as that. Now your ends sometimes will want to come out of your pin curl. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to keep the ends on the inside of your pin curl. It's easier to kind of grab across the curl like you see me doing. Then grab yourself a pin curl clip, come in nice and close so you can see, and then pin the hair, grab some of the root of your hair and pin inside the barrel so you get a standing pin curl. Now what I'm going to do for this front section of my hair and also for the crown section, the first couple of rows at the back, I'm going to do standing pin curls because I'm pretty light on in hair in the front section here, so I need extra volume and lift to help create my S-wave. I'm going to show you one more trick before I finish off this top section of my hair, and that is, currently I have a contemporary haircut, not a vintage haircut, so I've got layers, weird layers all over the place. So it makes it difficult to pin curl because as you'll see, when I try and pin curl, bits fall down. Like you can see here, I've got layer that length, layer that length, that length. When I pull it out, it's all different lengths and it's very difficult to wrap it around my finger. Now the trick, if that's happening to you, is to curl more of it around your finger before you start rolling it in. This section is actually pretty much the same length, hence it makes it very easy to pin curl. But if it wasn't and I had bits raining down here, I would start my fingers about here and I would wrap down my finger. Can you see? I'm tapering it down toward the end of my finger. And then what you do is you slide, and this is tricky, but you slide the hair off your finger and push the ends inside, like so, okay? Then pull on the hair to make the ring, the curl, smaller. Now that sounds kind of complicated, it does take a little bit of practice, but that's how you do it and you end up with a small one. Then wrap your fingers over the top of the curl, pinch it all together and roll it on in. And as I said, coax those ends in as you go. You don't want them hanging out at the end of your curl. That's the bit that makes your pin curl nice and tight and helps you set your hair properly. Roll it on in. And the other thing is to roll it right into your scalp. Don't stop here and then just pin to your head. You need to roll that curl right into your scalp till you cannot roll it any further and then pin it down. Those things are very, very important. Other than that, if your parting isn't perfect, if your pin curls are slightly different sizes, all of that stuff, it doesn't really matter, provided your hair is damp, provided the ends of your curl are on the inside, provided you roll right into your scalp, and provided you don't put too much hair in each individual pin curl. It must be a small amount of hair. If you do all of those things, your wet set will turn out pretty well. So I'm going to do the rest of my bang section of my hair, and I'll speed through that because hopefully you get the idea. So the front here is a little bit easier to see how I have pinned into the root, and my root actually starts over here and I've pinned back and onto the root with my curl going this way. Super important. It really helps create that kind of shape when you create your S-wave, and it looks really authentic if you do that. Now I'm going to look at the sides of my hair before moving on to the crown of my head. So as I say, I'm very thin in this front section of my hair through here and particularly on the sides, and then the bulk of my hair is very, very thick back here. So there's not a lot of pin curls for me here, but you might be different. You might be really thick through the front. You might need a whole lot more pin curls than me. That's fine. If you keep the individual pin curls small, it doesn't matter how many pin curls you end up with, it will be different for everyone. If you find that your hair is drying out, you can simply just like wet it a little bit along the way with a spray bottle, or I don't have one, so I'm just going to dip my fingers in some water. Into 2 parts and then 2 and 2 again, but as I say, you may have a lot more. And these ones, I'm going to be brushing my hair down this way, so obviously I'll be pulling the hair back this way and rolling down and under. And as I get down here, I'm going to flip the pin curl, so you'll see at the moment it's standing. I'm just turning it sideways and pinning it flat to my head, which is what I'm going to do for the back section of my hair as well. But all these top bits that I want volume on, I've left as standing pin curls. The other thing is when you pin your curls flat try not to squish them this way. So try to pin across the curl and don't smush the curl from being round to being an oval shape. Keep it nice and circular. Okay, so I'm going to work on the crown section of my hair now, which is this top part of my head, which is where a lot of my kind of volume will come from if I'm doing a 50s or a 60s do. And you can use pin curls to set anything from a 1920s to a 1960s do, and that's very traditional. This back section, if you're doing a 40s do, obviously a lot of it is brush flat anyway, but I always do standing pin curls there, so I have kind of options. So as you'll see, it'll come in from the side. I've separated out a depth of hair that's only like about 2 centimeters wide. And it's only this very top section of my hair. This is all the hair that I'm going to brush back and down, because I'm very thick through here in terms of my hair. I have small strands, but lots and lots of them. I'm going to split this into a lot of pin curls. And as I go, I'm going to give it some extra spritz with my setting lotion. And if anything's going to fall down when you're doing a pin curl set, it is the crown of your head. So I always like to do some extra in there. And as I said, the amount of hair that I've got is only small. Okay, so I have done all of the top section of my hair, so if you come in nice and close, you can see what it looks like. And I already have 1, 2, 3, 4. I already have 25 pin curls in my hair, whereas normally when I do a hot roller set, I use 20 hot rollers. So you can see, like, I haven't even started on this whole back section of my hair yet. So it takes a lot of pin curls. And yes, this does take a long time. If you want to get an authentic look and you want to do it the way that women did in the 20s to the 1960s, this is the way to do it. Otherwise, if you want it to be faster, do it with hot sticks or hot rollers or Velcro rollers or whatever you want, but you won't get the same outcome. So, you know. I tend to do mine now, like I can set it in about 20 minutes if I sit in front of the TV and do it. I'm obviously doing it more slowly now so that you guys can see what I'm doing, but if you practice, you can get quicker at it. Once I get to this back section, I just start using my fingers to separate it. And I meet in the middle. And I'm going to do these all flat like the ones on the side here because I don't need extra volume in this back section. Lol, I almost don't need a pin curl. This one is doing its own thing. I'll just go with that. If only every strand of hair would do that, make curling it around my fingers so much easier. And voila, I am finished. If at the end it feels quite dry, you can always wet your fingers and just kind of pat some extra water onto it. Then what you want to do is leave your hair for like a minimum of 3 hours. Like, that's if your hair is like mine and it curls really easily, and if it was only kind of mildly damp when you set it. If it was wet, sleep in it overnight. I don't mind going about the place with a scarf on either, so it doesn't really bother me. So I get a nice big scarf and I fold it into a triangle, so you can see it's a big one. Put it over my head like so. You might ask, why wear a headscarf? And here's a few reasons. I mean, apart from the fact that pin curls don't really look that attractive, so you might want to put something in your hair that looks a bit nicer if you're planning to go out like I am. Also, if you use a silky scarf, I find it stops my hair from getting frizzy as it dries, because I do have very fine hair and I tend to get a lot of flyaways, so I find that helps. It also stops your hair like snagging on stuff as well. And if you're going to sleep in it, obviously it stops you rubbing your hair up against the pillow. So definitely put a headscarf on and then go about your business while you wait for your hair to dry. Basically, this section is very similar to what you do when you do a hot roller set. So I'm going to take the pin curls out and then we're going to brush them through. Just as you take them out, run your fingers through them just to avoid any kind of knotting, which can happen because the curls are quite small. You'll see you get like very springy, bunched up curls. If that's how it's coming out, then you've done your pin curling perfectly. So, when you take all of your pin curls out, you will look somewhat like Shirley Temple. So what I do is literally brush them all out, and we'll try to brush up rather than down because you'll be pulling the volume out of your hair. So go for it and give it a brush. as you brush it out, you will see it naturally start to take shape. Try to follow what your hair is wanting to do, because your set will turn out way better that way. I said this before in my brush out video for my hot roller tutorial, and essentially the concept is the same. This is a basic pin curl set, so I can do other videos where I do hairstyles where you actually pin curl in different directions, in different sections of your hair to get a particular result. But today I wanted to show you the absolute basics of a pin curl set. You want to pin your hair into the shape that you want it to end up with before you spray it. So, this kind of swoop bit here to stick around. So you want to pin there, and I'm going to pin here. Okay, so as you see, at the moment I've got kind of a Marilyn-y kind of haircut, so the pin curls have gone into that kind of direction. It will depend on the kind of haircut you have as to how it turns out. Do watch my vintage haircut information video, but you get the idea. This is how you do a pin curl set. The more that you sculpt your hair and then spray it with hairspray, the more kind of rockabilly and styled it's going to look. So you can either go kind of natural. If you've got long hair, you'll end up with kind of a young Vivian Leigh or like a Rita Hayworth kind of look. If you've got short hair like mine, then you'll end up with kind of an Elizabeth Taylor-y, Marilyn Monroe-y look. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out my Instagram and my Facebook. If you have any other requests for videos, put them in the comments box below. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye!